Most people are stuck in the same cycle their entire lives, chasing approval, drowning in noise, and wondering why nothing changes. But what if I told you the secret to getting everything you want isn't about hustling harder, it's about shutting up? Here's why staying silent and focusing on yourself is the ultimate power move. Think about the last time you felt truly unstoppable. Not because you were yelling the loudest or begging for attention, but because you were locked in, undistracted, and moving in silence. The world's most successful people don't waste energy on gossip, complaints, or proving themselves. They focus, they execute, and while everyone else is stuck in drama, they're getting results. Today, we're breaking down exactly how to do that. We live in a world that rewards noise, social media, office politics, even our own families. Everyone wants a piece of your time, your energy, your focus. And the more you give it away, the more drained you feel. But here's the truth. You will never build the life you want if you're constantly pulled in every direction. Distractions are expensive. Drama is a trap. And every second you spend reacting to nonsense is a second stolen from your future. 1. The power of silence. Silence isn't just about keeping your mouth shut. It's about mastering the art of strategic disengagement. Most people don't realize how much energy they waste, arguing with strangers online, defending themselves to people who don't matter, reacting to every little thing that bothers them. They think speaking up makes them powerful. But real power, it's in the pause. It's in the ability to let nonsense pass right by you without grabbing onto it. Think about the last time someone tried to pull you into drama. Maybe it was a coworker gossiping, a family member picking a fight, or some random comment online designed to get a reaction out of you. What happened when you didn't take the bait? They either got louder, desperate for your attention, or they moved on to someone else who would give them what they wanted. That's the thing about silence. It forces people to reveal their true intention. The more you stay quiet, the more they expose themselves. And here's the secret. Silence isn't weakness. It's control. When you refuse to engage, you're not ignoring the situation, you're choosing how it affects you. You're deciding where your energy goes. Most people react without thinking. They get emotional, say things they regret, and end up trapped in cycles of conflict. But when you stay silent, you keep all the power. You don't give anyone ammunition. You don't get dragged into battles that don't serve you. Now let's talk about focus. The reason most people never get where they want to go is because they're too busy explaining themselves instead of executing. They announce their plans to the world, looking for applause before they've even started. They get caught up in proving themselves instead of improving themselves. But the ones who win, they move in silence. They don't need validation. They don't need an audience. They know the work speaks for itself. So how do you apply this? Start small. The next time someone says something stupid, let it go. The next time you feel the urge to defend yourself, ask, does this actually matter? The next time you want to share your big plans, ask, will this help me or just make me feel good for a second? Train yourself to hold back. Watch how people react when you don't give them what they expect. Watch how much more you get done when you're not wasting time on things that don't move you forward. And here's the best part. The longer you stay silent, the more people start to wonder. They start to question. They start to respect you more because they can't figure you out. While they're busy talking, you're busy building. While they're seeking attention, you're stacking results. And when you finally do speak, people listen because they know when you say something, it means something. Stop sharing your plans. There's a reason the most successful people in the world don't broadcast their next move. It's not because they're secretive. It's because they understand human psychology. The moment you tell someone your goal, your brain gets tricked into feeling like you've already achieved it. That little burst of pride you feel when people say, wow, that's amazing. That's dopamine, and dopamine is addictive. The problem is, once you get that hit, your motivation drops. Why? Because you've already gotten the reward, the approval, the praise, the excitement, without actually doing the work. Think about it. How many times have you told someone, I'm starting a business, or I'm going to get in shape, and felt that rush of excitement, and then nothing happened? You talked about it so much that the ideal alone satisfied you. The urgency faded. The work never got done. That's why the ones who actually succeed don't talk. They don't need the temporary high of people's reaction. They're fueled by something deeper. The quiet satisfaction of knowing they're building something real, even if nobody else sees it yet. Now let's talk about energy. Every time you share your plans, you're giving away your energy. You're letting other people's opinions, doubts, or even their enthusiasm seep into your mindset. Maybe someone tells you, "That's too hard," and suddenly you start questioning yourself. Or maybe they hype you up so much that you put unnecessary pressure on yourself. Either way, you're no longer operating from a place of pure focus. You're letting outside noise influence your path. But when you keep your plans to yourself, you protect your energy. You stay in your own lane. You don't get distracted by what other people think, because they don't even know what you're doing. You're free to pivot, adjust, and move at your own pace, without expectations weighing you down. And here's the real magic. When you finally reveal what you've been working on, it's not a promise anymore. It's a fact. People aren't applauding your idea, they're applauding your results. And that's a whole different level of respect. So what's the rule? Work in the dark. Let your success be the only thing that makes noise. Stop looking for validation before you've earned it. Stop giving away your energy to people who don't deserve it. The less you say, the more you do. And the more you do, the more undeniable your success becomes. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares about what you say you're going to do. They only care about what you've actually done. So shut up, get to work, and let your results do the talking. Your energy is your currency. You hear it all the time. Time is money. But that's not the full truth. Time is just a measurement. Energy, that's the real currency. Because you can have all the time in the world, but if your energy is drained, you won't get anything done. Think about it. How many days have you had where you technically had hours to work, but you felt exhausted before you even started? That's not a time problem. That's an energy problem. Most people don't realize how much of their energy gets stolen every single day. The coworker who always complains, the family member who thrives on drama, the social media arguments that go nowhere. Every single one of these things takes a piece of you, and if you're not careful, you'll wake up one day wondering why you feel empty even though you're busy. That's the trap. Being busy doesn't mean you're being productive. It just means you're burning fuel without going anywhere. So how do you fix it? You start treating your energy like the most valuable thing you own, because it is. Imagine you only had 100. Would you waste it on things that don't matter? Would you hand it out to anyone who asked? Of course not. You'd guard it. You'd spend it only on what's necessary. You'd make sure every dollar was moving you forward. That's exactly how you need to treat your energy. This means walking away from conversations that drain you. It means saying no without feeling guilty. It means cutting off people, habits, and environments that take more from you than they give back. And yes, that's hard at first, because we're trained to be polite, to endure, to just deal with it. But here's the truth. Every minute you spend in a negative space is a minute you're stealing from your future. Every drop of energy you waste on nonsense is a drop that could have been used to build something better. The people who rise fastest aren't the ones working the hardest. They're the ones who protect their energy the fiercest. They don't get pulled into pointless debates. They don't entertain toxic relationships. They don't explain themselves to people who won't understand anyway. They conserve their fuel for what actually matters. And because of that, they always have enough in the tank to keep moving when everyone else is burned out. So ask yourself, where is your energy going? Are you spending it on things that lift you up, or are you leaking it on things that hold you down? The choice is yours. But remember, you can't get back wasted time, and you can't get back wasted energy. Guard it like your life depends on it, because in a way it does. The 24-hour rule. Ever said something in anger and immediately regretted it? Ever fired off a text, an email, or a social media comment in the heat of the moment only to wish you could take it back? We've all been there, because when emotions run high, logic runs low. And that's when mistakes happen. That's when words get said that can't be unsaid. That's when bridges get burned over things that in hindsight weren't even that important. That's why you need the 24-hour rule. It's simple. When something pisses you off, don't react. Wait. Give it a full day. Sleep on it. Let the emotion fade. Then and only then decide if it's worth your energy. Because here's the thing. Most problems aren't emergencies. Most conflicts aren't life or death. They're just tests. Tests of your patience. Tests of your discipline. Tests to see if you'll take the bait and lose control. And the people who pass these tests, they're the ones who come out on top. Because they understand that reacting in the moment is weakness. Waiting is strength. Let me give you an example. Imagine someone disrespects you in front of others. Your first instinct is to clap back, to defend yourself, to prove them wrong. But what happens if you do? You look just as emotional as they are. You give them the reaction they wanted. You turn a small moment into a big scene. Now imagine you do nothing. You stay calm. You let their words hang in the air. You don't give them the satisfaction of a response. What happens then? They look foolish. They look unstable. And you look untouchable. Because you didn't take the bait. You didn't let them control you. You showed that your peace is more important than their drama. This rule doesn't just apply to arguments. It applies to big decisions too. Want to quit your job after a bad day? Wait 24 hours. Want to confront someone over something they said? Want to make a big purchase out of excitement? Wait 24 hours. You'll be amazed how many urgent problems solve themselves if you just give them time. And for the ones that don't, you'll handle them with a clear head instead of a heated one. This one habit will save you from more regret than almost anything else, because most of the things that feel like emergencies in the moment aren't. Most of the words we wish we could take back were never worth saying in the first place. The 24-hour rule isn't about ignoring problems, it's about solving them the right way, with patience, with clarity, with control. So the next time your emotions scream at you to react, remember, silence isn't losing, waiting isn't weakness. The real power is in knowing when to speak, when to move, and when to let things go. And that's a skill that will serve you for life. Become a mirror. People love to talk. They love to complain. They love to dump their problems onto anyone who will listen. But here's what they don't love: solutions. Because most of the time, they're not actually looking for help. They're looking for attention. They're looking for someone to validate their drama, to agree with their victim's story, to give them permission to stay stuck. And if you're not careful, you'll waste hours of your life playing therapist to people who have no intention of changing anything. So how do you stop this? You become a mirror. A mirror doesn't argue. It doesn't offer advice. It doesn't get emotionally invested. It simply reflects back exactly what's put in front of it. And that's your new strategy. When someone comes to you with complaints, don't engage. Don't try to fix it. Don't give them the reaction they're fishing for. Just mirror their energy. If they're upset, say, "Yeah, that sounds tough." If they're venting, say, "Wow, that's crazy." If they're looking for sympathy, say, "I get why you'd feel that way," and then change the subject, or say nothing at all. At first, they'll keep pushing. They'll try to pull you deeper into the conversation. They'll wait for you to take the bait. But when you don't, when you stay neutral, when you refuse to feed into their emotional spiral, they'll stop, because you're not giving them what they want. You're not giving them fuel. And without fuel, their fire burns out fast. This works because most people don't actually want to solve their problems. They just want to feel heard. They want to feel important. They want to feel like their drama matters. But when you refuse to play along, when you refuse to give their nonsense weight, they'll either fix it themselves or find someone else to dump it on. Either way, you win. You save your energy. You protect your peace. And over time, they'll stop coming to you with their problems altogether, because they know you won't give them the reaction they crave. This isn't about being cold. It's about being smart. It's about recognizing that not every battle is yours to fight. Not every problem is yours to solve. And not every person actually wants help. They just want an audience. Your indifference isn't cruelty. It's a filter. It keeps the energy vampires away and leaves space for the people who truly matter. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their drama, remember, you're not a dumping ground. You're a mirror. Reflect back. Don't absorb. And watch how much lighter you feel when you stop carrying other people's baggage. The focus formula. You want to know the real reason you're not getting where you want to go? It's not because you're not working hard enough. It's not because you're not talented enough. It's because you're distracted. And not just by the obvious stuff, social media, TV, gossip. You're distracted by everything that doesn't matter. The notifications, the news, the opinions, the endless stream of noise that pulls your attention in 10 different directions before you've even had breakfast. Focus isn't something you find. It's something you create. And the way you create it isn't by trying harder. It's by eliminating everything that's stealing your attention in the first place. Think about it like this. Your brain is a room. Right now, that room is packed with junk. Useless apps, toxic people, negative thoughts, unnecessary obligation. Every time you walk in, you have to step over all that clutter just to get to the one thing you actually need. No wonder you're exhausted before you even start. The solution isn't to push through the mess, it's to clear it out. Start with the easy stuff. Unfollow, mute, delete. Every account that drains you, every person who brings negativity, every app that sucks you into a black hole of wasted time, cut it off. You don't need willpower to avoid distractions if the distractions aren't there in the first place. Then go deeper. What conversations are you having that go nowhere? What habits are you clinging to that don't serve you? What obligations are you saying yes to out of guilt instead of purpose? Every single thing in your life is either moving you forward or holding you back. There's no neutral. If it's not helping, it's hurting. And the faster you cut it out, the faster you'll move. This isn't about being extreme. It's about being intentional. You don't have to live like a monk. You just have to stop letting the world dictate where your attention goes. The most successful people aren't the ones with the most discipline. They're the ones with the fewest distractions. They don't resist temptation. They remove it. So ask yourself, what's one thing you can eliminate today that's been stealing your focus? What's one person, one habit, one app, one thought pattern you can cut out to make room for what actually matters? Do that. Then do it again tomorrow. And keep going until the only things left in your life are the things that move you forward. Because here's the truth. You don't need more motivation. You need less clutter. And when you finally clear it out, you'll be amazed at how much you can accomplish without even trying. Let them underestimate you. There is an immense power in being unknown, in being unseen, in being misunderstood. The world is full of people who believe they have everything figured out. They size you up in seconds, place you in a box, and move on convinced they know exactly what you're capable of. And that is where their greatest weakness lies. Because when someone underestimates you, they reveal their own ignorance, and in that ignorance, you find opportunity. Think of the chess player who lets his opponent believe he is making a mistake, only to reveal a deeper strategy. Think of the warrior who appears weak until the moment of battle. The key is not to correct those who misunderstand you. Let them believe what they want. Their assumptions are chains they place upon themselves, and while they are busy feeling superior, you are free to move in silence, to act without resistance, to win without their interference. The moment you explain yourself, you give away power. The moment you try to prove your intelligence, your strength, your worth, you enter their game on their terms. But why play by their rules when you can set your own? The less they know, the more room you have to maneuver. The less they expect, the greater your impact when you finally strike. History is filled with those who were dismissed, ignored, or laughed at until they were feared. The quiet ones, the ones who didn't waste energy on words, the ones who let others believe they were insignificant. They were the ones who changed the game, because while the loudest in the room were busy announcing their plans, the true strategist was already 3 steps ahead. So let them talk, let them assume, let them think they have you figured out. Their overconfidence is your weapon, their ignorance is your shield, and while they are distracted by their own illusions, you will be building, growing, preparing until the moment comes when they realize too late that they never saw you coming. The art of strategic isolation. There is a misconception that to be powerful, you must be everywhere, seen at every event, heard in every conversation, involved in every conflict. But true strength does not come from constant presence. It comes from deliberate absence. The more you disappear, the more your presence becomes valuable. The less you speak, the more weight your words carry when you choose to break silence. Isolation is not about hiding. It is not about fear. It is about control, about choosing when, where, and how you engage. The lion does not waste energy chasing every noise in the jungle. It waits, it observes, it strikes only when the moment is right. In the same way, the most powerful minds do not scatter themselves in every direction. They withdraw, not out of weakness, but strategy. Think of the rarest things in the world: gold, diamonds, time. Their value comes from their scarcity. If they were everywhere, they would mean nothing. Your presence, your attention, your words, they are no different. The more you give them away freely, the less they are worth. But when you become selective, when you make people earn your time, your influence grows exponentially. Most people fear isolation. They fear being forgotten, being left out, being irrelevant. And so they fill their days with noise, endless conversations, unnecessary battles, meaningless connections. But the one who understands strategy knows that isolation is where true power is forged. In silence, you hear what others miss. In stillness, you see what others overlook. In solitude, you plan what others cannot imagine. When you remove yourself from the crowd, you are no longer pulled in every direction. You are no longer swayed by opinions, distracted by trivial conflicts, or drained by energy vampires. Instead, you conserve your strength, sharpen your focus, and move with precision. And when you do step back into the world, it is not as another voice in the chaos, but as a force that cannot be ignored. So do not fear disappearing. Do not fear silence. The world will try to convince you that you must always be seen, always be heard, always be fighting. But the wise know better. They know that sometimes the most powerful move is to step back, to let others exhaust themselves in the race, while you prepare for the moment when your presence, rare, calculated, undeniable, will change everything. Small actions, big results. Success is not a sudden explosion of effort, not a grand gesture that changes everything overnight. No, success is quieter than that. It's the whisper of discipline in the morning when you choose to read instead of scroll. It's the silent decision to save a little instead of spending it all. It's the steady hum of work when others are complaining. These are the things no one sees, the tiny choices that seem insignificant in the moment but over time build an unstoppable force. Think of a river cutting through rock. It does not happen in a day. The water does not slam against the stone once and carve a canyon. No, it is the constant gentle pressure, drop by drop, day after day, that wears down the hardest surfaces. You are that river. Your habits, your daily disciplines are the drops of water. And time is your greatest ally. Most people underestimate the power of small actions. They wait for inspiration, for motivation, for the right moment. But success does not wait. It is built in the ordinary moments, the ones that feel too small to matter. The extra page read when you're tired, the dollar saved instead of wasted, the extra hour of work when no one is watching. These are the bricks of greatness. Consider this. If you read just 10 pages a day in a year, you will have read over 3,600 pages. That's more than most people read in a decade. If you save just $5 a day in 10 years, with interest, you could have thousands set aside. If you spend 1 hour a day mastering a skill, in 5 years you will be among the best in the world at it. These are not theories. These are mathematical certainty. The compound effect is not magic. It is simply the law of accumulation. Yet most people ignore it. They want the big win, the overnight success, the lottery ticket to change their lives. But real success does not come from luck. It comes from consistency. It comes from showing up when you don't feel like it, from doing the work when no one is applauding, from choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. Look around you. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not superhuman. They are not gifted with some secret talent the rest of us lack. They simply understand what others refuse to accept. Small actions repeated over time create massive results. The world will try to distract you, will tell you to chase the next shiny thing, to seek instant gratification, to measure your worth in likes and followers. But true success is not found in the noise. It is found in the quiet daily decisions that no one else sees. It is found in the discipline to stay focused when everyone else is scattered. So ask yourself, what small action can you take today that will compound over time? What habit can you build that will set you apart in a year, in 5, in 10? Because here is the truth. You are already becoming who you will be. Every choice, every action, every moment is shaping your future. Will you let distractions steal your potential, or will you commit to the small, steady actions that lead to greatness? The path is clear. The choice is yours. Start now, the moment everything clicks. There will come a time, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, when you will look back and realize something profound. It will strike you with the quiet force of truth. The less you cared about what others thought, the more respect you earned. The less you chased after validation, the more success found its way to you. The quieter you became, the louder your results spoke for themselves. And in that moment, You will understand you have mastered the game. This is not some mystical revelation. It is the natural outcome of a mind focused on what truly matters. Most people spend their lives running in circles, desperate for approval, chasing fleeting pleasures, shouting to be heard in a noisy world. But the ones who rise above, the ones who achieve real success, do the opposite. They stop seeking permission. They stop begging for attention. They stop worrying about who is watching. Instead, they focus on their work, their growth, their mission. And in time, the world takes notice. Think about it. When you constantly adjust yourself to fit others' expectations, you dilute your power. Every time you hold back an idea because someone might disapprove, every time you dim your light to avoid outshining others, every time you stay silent to keep the peace, you give away a piece of your potential. But when you stop caring about opinions, something remarkable happens. Your confidence grows. Your decisions become sharper. Your presence carries weight. People sense it. They may not always like it, but they will respect it. And what about chasing? So many people exhaust themselves running after things they believe will bring happiness. More money, more recognition, more possessions. But true success does not come to those who chase. It comes to those who build. When you stop chasing and start creating, the world responds differently. Opportunities find you. People seek you out. Why? Because you are no longer desperate. You are no longer begging. You are solid, certain, moving with purpose, and that kind of energy attracts everything you once thought you had to run after. Then there is the power of silence. Most people believe they must be loud to be heard, must argue to be right, must constantly prove themselves to be valued. But the strongest minds speak least. They observe, they listen, they act when necessary, not when ego demands. And when they do speak, their words carry authority because they are not wasted on trivial things. Success does not need to be announced. It announces itself. Your work, your results, your character will speak far louder than any boast ever could. This is the moment everything clicks, when you realize that the rules you thought governed success were illusions. The real game is played inward. It is played in the discipline of your thoughts, the focus of your energy, the consistency of your actions. External validation is a trap. Chasing is a waste. Noise is a distraction. The ones who win are the ones who understand this early. So how do you reach this moment? By letting go, by trusting the process, by refusing to be pulled into the petty dramas and short-term thinking that consume most people. You focus on mastery. You focus on growth. You focus on what you can control, your effort, your attitude, your persistence. And over time, as you build, as you improve, as you become someone of substance, the world adjusts around you. You will not see it at first. There will be days when it feels like nothing is working, when the opinions of others seem to matter, when the chase feels necessary, when the noise is overwhelming. But if you stay the course, if you keep working, keep learning, keep refining yourself, the shift will happen. One day, you will wake up and realize you no longer worry about what people think. You no longer scramble for approval. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself. And that is when you know you have won. Not because the world has handed you anything, but because you have stepped beyond the need for its permission. You have become someone who operates from a deeper truth. Success is not about being seen, but about being undeniable. The moment everything clicks is not luck. It is not fate. It is the inevitable result of a mind that has learned to ignore distractions, to reject empty validation, and to focus on what truly builds a legacy. That moment is waiting for you. The question is, will you stay on the path long enough to reach? Your life changes the moment you decide you're done performing, explaining, and begging for attention. Focus, execute, repeat. Let the noise fade and watch everything fall into place.